is non-parametric test. As we use the word test, what does it mean? Any guess, Ejaz and Asrid? Test means what? Hypothesis test. So whatever we have covered in first semester, testing of hypothesis, those concepts will be again using it, and that should be part of our syllabus. Okay. And whatever we'll be discussing today, I would be happy if you can please note down quickly in your notebook also. So this is the plan. We'll be briefly discussing definition, concepts of testing of hypothesis, and of course, the very word hypothesis. And how we and why we use the formula, that will be discussing again as a quick recap. And the decision rule, once we make a test, hypothesis testing, how we decide. If you recall, we reject hypothesis or accept hypothesis, and then we'll be quickly differentiating between the set of parametric test and non-parametric test. NPT stands for non-parametric test, and we'll be solving a few numerical examples. Can I request a few more to please switch on video? Asriba, thank you. Priyanka, if you don't mind. And some of you please switch on video so that it will be better interactive. And just a quick recap. Those who please recall, hypothesis is something like one assumption or a presumption or a proposition which can be framed as a declarative statement. Say, for example, which is now very, very current issue, every family must be very much concerned about the COVID vaccine. And as you know, in India, we've got two types of vaccine, Covaxin and Manjot, Covaxin and Covishield. Which is better?
Covishield.
Covaxin is better.
How do you know? Suppose the people are divided, confused, so we want to make a test. So something lesser known or unknown facts are verified through testing of hypothesis. Which is better? Say, for example, it can come to us for the recruiter, are girls better so far as patience is concerned than boys or not, if you want to verify this. So if you are making a statement like girls are better, so it is a hypothesis. You are assuming, which can be verified. So if you want to verify through testing of hypothesis, hypothesis can usually be written in two ways. One, null hypothesis, and other is alternative hypothesis. I gave two examples. One, vaccine, another, girls' greater capability. If you can please recall, please help me. Usually the meaning and definition of null hypothesis, we start with what? Ejaz, if you recall, there is no difference. Okay. So if I ask you to have a null hypothesis on vaccine efficiency comparison between the two vaccines we are now available in India, what should be the null hypothesis?
So null hypothesis will be H0 colon Covaxin is better than Covishield.
No, better तो alternative हो गया रे. Better means alternative. Null hypothesis का मतलब शुरू से ये मानना होगा कि शायद दोनों बराबर हो. ठीक है? So both are equal. There is no difference, na? So that will be null hypothesis. What you are telling is alternative hypothesis. All of you are clear now? So similarly, girls and boys are equal, and alternative will be girls are better. So that way you can do it. So please remember, this can come as example in exam. So if you recall, earlier in first semester, we had suggested if you get any question on testing a hypothesis, whether large sample, small sample, or again now non-parametric test, better to follow 4 steps. What are the 4 steps, Ajaz? If you recall, first, define hypothesis. What is your hypothesis? Okay. Second, what is the formula? Third, find calculated value. And last, fourth and last, compare. Compare with what, Ajaz?
Null hypothesis.
Calculated value with tabulated value ray. You have forgotten everything. लार्ज सैंपल टेस्ट में टेबुलेटेड वैल्यू होता था, टी टेस्ट में टी टेबल होता था, ठीक है. स्टेप 3 you are computing, calculating, that will be called calculated value. That calculated value will be compared with the tabulated value. Okay, so these are the 4 steps. Quick recap. First, you define hypothesis.
Define hypothesis.
Second
is formula.
Second formula.
Third is calculating, and fourth is comparing.
And then comparison. Thank you. And we had also explained very briefly the concept of one-tail test, two-tail test. If the critical region appears only on one side, that will be called one-tail test. If the critical region appears on both sides, then that will be called a two-tail test. Okay, we'll be discussing a bit later. Now, coming to the formula, please all of you remember, usually we test the difference. All of you please note it down. First term T is what you observe. Next, what you expected, ET, expected value of T. इन दोनों में कुछ ज़्यादा difference है या नहीं, that we verify whether this difference is significantly different or not. So T minus expected T is usually tested. If it is negligible, then it is okay. If it is significantly different beyond our tolerance limit, then we reject it. Naturally, if you are taking a sample, so you are considering standard error, which is standard deviation. So this ratio is the generic formula for any test and every test. Please remember, this is general format of testing of hypothesis. This is called test criterion. Okay. Now moving forward, if you recall, we had perhaps discussed there could be a classification of different tests. One could be large sample test, which you denoted as Bhavani Z. And the small sample test, we have already covered T test, chi-square test, perhaps F test we have not elaborated. Those you recall, in multiple regression SPSS output, there was a term concept called F. F value we had discussed. Again, we'll be repeating it. Okay. Now, anybody who quickly can help me, what is the basic difference between large sample test and small sample test? Any volunteer?
Sample size is more than 30.
Fine.
That is large sample test.
That is the definition. Another would be in large sample test. Please remember, we may not be needing any table. We have to remember the tabulated value. Asribad, what are the tabulated value? 1.96, 2.58. You remember? Again, you note it down today itself. So NPT will also be treated as large sample test, and no table value will be provided in exam hall. So you have to remember and compare the calculated value with tabulated value 1.96 or 2.58. 1.96 is for what percentage level, Jatin?
Sir, 99%.
95?
95%.
Or level of significance will be 5%,
5%.
1% respectively. Hope you recall this table. In sample testing or testing of hypothesis, what you do, please see the first row. All of you please concentrate on this important table, which may come again in exam. Based on the sample, either you are rejecting or accepting. Okay. Is my screen visible, Jatin?
Yes, sir.
Actually, the population
Yes,
you might not have seen. The population could be good or bad. So if you combine two situations, you have got 4 possible alternatives. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of the 4, 2 could be errors. And we called it type 1 error, type 2 error. And 2 would be correct decisions. Baba need to tell, can you see this particular cell here? How
Yes, sir.
arrive at this situation? Be quick. Next, Jatin will be telling this first situation. Bhavani, quick.
If H0 true
Sample, sample is good and population is good. So you have accepted, so it's a correct. Okay. Jatin, how we may arrive at this situation?
Sir, when we means sample is not good and means null.
What you have checked, unfortunately, you found bad and you rejected. But actually, the population is good.
Population is good.
So
Yes.
this is unfortunately, accidentally,
Type
1 error. Ashribad, third situation here. Can you see how we may arrive at this type of situation?
Sir, the hypothesis we rejected and the population is not so good.
Sample is bad, population is also bad. So you are correct in rejecting a bad thing. Okay. Manjot, can I trouble you, dear? Fourth
Yes,
situation.
yes, sir. Sir,
कैसे
in
काम
this,
होगा
sir,
ये?
in this, the hypothesis is right. Your hypothesis is accepted, but your population is false.
कैसे करेंगे? Example याद है? Can you give one example? First, Manju.
Covid Lala.
हाँ, can you give one example? Then Tanya. Any volunteer?
Sir, boys and girls were.
हाँ, बोलो कोई भी.
So
Sir,
this
in
was on the consumer risk where we had taken an example of.
कैसे हो सकता है? Can you give one real life example?
Yes,
Sir,
sir,
boys
वो
equal.
medicine वाला example था. So one medicine, in a store, if some medicine is expired, but the consumer, they are selling it to the consumer.
अरे, you are testing a sample. Medicine sell तो होगा जब accepted ना. हमने example दिए थे कुछ. Anybody who can.
COVID shield and
Boys and girls both are equal. This is hypothesis, and false is boys are more intelligent than girls.
Jatin, I think you are giving a very complicated, difficult example. Maybe you are correct. You remember, please remember, I had perhaps given in your section, मान लो, you are taking the interview. Manjut is recruiter. I am say one candidate. Okay. Manjut ne asked one question to my log. That question alone I knew. फटाफट मैंने जवाब दे दी. ठीक है. What he will do, Manjot?
sir, I would recruit you.
हाँ, because not that I am your teacher, because I answered your question.
Yeah, right answer.
सचमुच मैं एक गधा हूँ. Okay, I don't know nothing except that question. ठीक है. We have recruited. How we have recruited? Because that person answered. That very spur of the moment, he or she could answer, and you have selected. Similarly, जो sample medicine होते हैं, ठीक है? And if you send to sample testing, those sample medicine could be very good, but in general, that medicine may not be that much good. Okay, so that you can cite example to elaborate how we can come across this situation. As some of you are suggesting, and one of the error was termed as reduces risk, another was termed as consumer's risk. Ipsita Das, differentiate between producer's risk and consumer's risk. Ipsita.
Sir, in producer risk, I guess if our hypothesis is wrong, then it is the loss of the producer.
अरे कैसे होगा, कब होगा, how it is producer's
Like,
loss?
for example, in the medicine only, if we take a sample and the sample which comes to us is bad, so the other party will say your medicine is bad, so it is the risk of the producer, and he will be thinking the whole lot is of the medicine is bad. And in consumer risk, it is like if we take the medicine example, the sample which the shopkeeper took, it was good. So by checking the sample, they will take the whole lot. But while distributing, they may find
Can you complete before evening? अरे एक सेंटेंस में बोल सकती है निशी नम्रता?
सर प्रोड्यूसर रिस्क क्या ये हो सकता है जो आप जो एग्जांपल दिए रिक्रूटमेंट वाला, जो मैंने बाय चांस आपसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछा और आपको कुछ नहीं आता था बट आपको वो आता था और मैंने आपको ले लिया, तो वो एक प्रोड्यूसर रिस्क हुआ।
अरे वो तो
नहीं,
अलग होगा ना,
वो
वो
उल्टा
तो रिक्रूट
होगा,
कर दिया।
लाइक
अरे
कंज्यूमर
Consumer's risk.
एक
हाँ,
क्वेश्चन सर को नहीं आता
अरे
था बट
सुनो रे सुनो रे सुनो रे सुनो रे, यू आर से फॉर एग्जांपल एसक्यूसी लैब चीफ, एसक्यूसी मतलब स्टैटिस्टिकल क्वालिटी कंट्रोल, बाजार भेजने से पहले प्रोडक्ट शुड बी टेस्टेड, ठीक है मंजूर? दो चार रैंडमली आपको प्रोडक्ट भेजा गया टू एसक्यूसी लैब, unfortunately only those 4 units are found to be defective. So as your SQC chief, what will be your decision?
टू रिजेक्ट द होल लॉट।
हाँ, अरे नहीं भाई ये प्रोडक्ट ठीक ठाक नहीं है, अगर मार्केट को भेजोगे ना तो हमारा बदनाम ही होगा, ठीक है? तो व्हाट यू हैव डन, यू ऑर्डर कि ये सारे जो लॉट है फेंको, बाजार मत भेजो। बट ये भी हो सकता है एक्चुअली दोज 4 यूनिट्स अलोन आर डिफेक्टिव, रेस्ट आर वेरी गुड, ओके? तो क्या हुआ, यू हैव ऑलरेडी मैन्युफैक्चर्ड एंड यू आर नॉट सेंडिंग, रिजेक्टिंग, सो इट इज ए लॉस टू दी ऑर्गेनाइजर। और कंज्यूमर रिस्क ये रहा जो मंजूत वाज ट्राइंग टू सजेस्ट, बाय चांस मान लो 2-4 यूनिट ठीक ठाक मिला बट एक्चुअली द प्रोडक्ट पॉपुलेशन इज नॉट गुड और आपने रिकमेंड कर दिए, सो द पुअर क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट्स आर इनटू द मार्केट, सो हु इज टू सफर?
The consumer.
Consumer. Is that clear? So all of you please note it down. This is important concept and we had discussed earlier. Okay, this is a quick repetition. Now, as I was telling, while showing the formula, we are to check the difference. Anybody who remembers that formula? Numerator में क्या था? What you are observing, what you had expected, or दोनों difference, if it is significant or not. So if that difference is within the tolerable limit like this, suppose you have put a lower limit and upper limit, and if it is within this white area, then it is acceptable. But if it exceeds this boundary, then you reject. So both these sets, both sides are critical region. Critical region means if you are finding the value here or here, then you are unhappy and you tell it is unacceptable and you are rejecting it. Okay, this is how we take the decision. These are the decision rule. So this is a left tail and this is a right tail, and if it falls here, we accept it. Okay. Now moving forward, now can I have your participation, please? As we had discussed earlier, we can have critical region only on one side. Okay. Who can give an example of a left tail or left side criticality? Any volunteer? Mikisa, then Nivedita. Mikisa, you are there or it should be marked absent?
No, sir, I'm here.
Respond. Nivedita, Mikisa, switch on video, quick. Respond. Save time. Then Nishi Namrata. Answer or say pass. Don't waste time. Ejaz, over to Ejaz. Jaldi bol. Or say pass. Next will be Asri.
So one.
Yes, Nishi.
So you're asking for the formula for one tail test?
No formula. Example. I think you are not listening to me. You have gone for your breakfast.
No, sir, I was going through the notes.
नहीं तू नहीं था. Asrit,
Sir, can we say like
if the you got a very good hairstyle. Can you show us your hairstyle? थोड़ा घुमा के दिखा.
Okay.
Take a left turn. Wow. Which style is this?
I said like I just bored of the last, so I just wanted to like change.
Interesting, interesting. Yes, come to the answer. Bike mileage. You have all my examples what we discussed earlier. Suppose company is suggesting the bike should give you 60 kilometer mileage. Okay, if it is much less, much less than 60, will you be happy? So you are unhappy. If it is more than 60, 65, 67, 70, you should also be unhappy, Manjot.
Sir, if it is 67, then we should be happy because 60
तो right hand side में critical region होगा नहीं होगा?
नहीं sir, non-critical region होगा क्योंकि हम लोग
में हो रहा है ना, अगर mileage is less, then it is critical region.
Then it will be critical region.
Side. So the example is of one tail test, left tail test. All of you are clear, Miki sir? Can you give a try? Can you cite one real life example where you find critical region may appear only on right hand side, not on left hand side? Tanya, any volunteer?
Yes, sir.
Sir, pollution.
Sir, pollution.
Very good.
Pollution,
Noise,
yes, sir.
pollution, less the better. Very good. Fantastic. Fantastic.
So
Okay.
the rate of petrol,
Dheeraj, bol.
prices of petrol.
Okay, good. Thank you. And moving.
Temperature also.
Temperature. Can it be two-tail test? Bhavani?
I think right till test give
Sorry.
temperature
Temperature will be exam percentage.
If it is minus 10, 20, will it be good, Bhavani?
No, sir.
So two-tail test, na? Rainfall. The amount of rainfall good for crop.
Certainly also two-tail test.
Okay. Extreme rain, flooding, that is also bad for crop. Very less rain, drought situation, bad for crop. So that could be also two-tail test. Is that clear? So this should come as a question with example. I don't know why and how you are forgetting this. Is a difficult question, na easy question, Ray? Why you are not able to answer? So moving forward, this will not be discussing. I think these are the formula, and the purpose of showing you, reminding you, this will not come in exam. These are all parametric. Please remember, we are using some values. X bar is sample mean, and mu is what?
Population.
Population mean. So anything you are using from population is called parameter. All of you write it down. Parameter means population information. So if you are using, or if you are in need of using any population information, that is called parameter. So thus these are called parametric test. Okay, so what we had covered in semester 1 are part of parametric test. And here also capital P is part of the population, and these are the assumptions that we must be knowing the population approximately normal. So again, this is parametric. This I'll be skipping it. Now coming to the non-parametric and parametric, this I have taken from Levin's book. Now, as I just now briefly suggested you that earlier hypothesis testing used parameters. Parameter means population information, mu, standard deviation, all those are parameters. And those are called parametric tests. But many times we may not be knowing the population, or we may not have access to the population. For example, we are just discussing today morning about Covaxin and Covishield. It has not been tested 100%. Only a few persons have been vaccinated. So we don't know what is the exact efficiency effective of the vaccine. Do we know that? We don't know. So in case of such situations where we do not know population, then these parametric tests cannot help us. But luckily, some statisticians have developed very easy, convenient, comfortable techniques which do not use parameters. So those are called non-parametric tests. Okay. Now, as I was requesting Ejaz, I think all of you must have noted down, among the NPTs, non-parametric tests, so far as our syllabus is concerned, we'll be covering today and in the next class, 3 types of NPTs. One, sign test, another rank sum test, which is also known as Mann-Whitney-U test. All of you note it down. And last one is one sample Ron test or in short Ron test. Okay. Now I would ask Ejaz again to share one question from the Levin's book. I think can you share that? I am just like stopping it so that you are in a position to share. Can you quickly scroll down? Share it. Page down. Page down. Page down. Hold on. So this data, all of you, please note down. 14.2 table. Can you make it bigger? Enlarge it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And please remember, those who might have seen your own book, this table is continued on to next page. I would request you please take screenshot of this page, and Priyanka, Manjot, any one of you can share this screenshot using WhatsApp group. And can you show Ejaz the next page, this table continuation? How many data there? Yes. So this is continued. Please remember there are 40 column data. Please note it down. So this is continued up to 40 column, and we will be solving this example right now. Let me explain this example. Yeah, Jatin.
सर एजाज को ले डबल साइड पेज कर देगा तो एक साथ में दिखाई देगा तो
नहीं, separately ये screenshot लेके Manjot or Priyanka, I have requested them. They will be circulating so that it will be visible. If you are putting 2 pages now, it will not be visible. Jatin. Okay. Now go to the first part of the table, Ejaz. Sorry for the trouble. Okay, let me explain the case so that we all save time, so that we can understand. Please see second line. It is written, Ejaz, listen to me. I need your help. Score for large lectures. And third line, score for small sections. Actually, that section should be deleted and you write it small lectures. It is a comparison between large lecture duration, small lecture duration. Are you getting me, Ejaz? So that section word delete, and you can use pen, you can write just LECT lecture. Okay, by the time Ejaz does the correction, all of you please listen to me carefully. Don't waste your time. All of you, I'll be happy if some of you can please switch on your video so that we are at one page. Now, often in good B schools, they take feedback from student and other stakeholders and about the duration of class or lectures. Should it be short or should it be longer? And there is different opinion. Sometimes students say if it is longer, then students may not have patience and they cannot receive well. But if it is very short, then sometimes we also feel that by the time you introduce the concept topic after taking attendance, some 10-15 minutes will go. If it is a long case or a big case, you may not get sufficient time if it is 60 minutes class or less than that. Let me share, even at our school, KSM, we have experimented many times. We had earlier 60-minute class, we had 70-minute class, we had 75-minute class, and now since last 3-4 years, we are experimenting 90-minute class for PG classes, not BBA I'm referring to. So I referred stakeholders. If you are going to take feedback, what type of lecture method will be more effective? A long duration method or shorter duration method? You need to take the feedback from different stakeholders. Priyanka Patro, what is the meaning of stakeholders? Ajaz, you are struggling. Can you write that lecture LECT, or you are not able to write? Yeah. Anybody who can respond? Stakeholder means what?
So the panel number
The
of students.
stakeholder means the people who are
So the people who are involved in a company involved in decision making.
Like Nissi,
So like shareholders,
Teachers, parents, investors.
students. So here it will be the students, no?
Nissi.
Yes, sir.
I think you are not attentive today. What happened to you today? Shareholder, you are going to invest your money. You got large money or what? Which example case we are discussing here?
So who are stakeholders, you ask?
Stakeholder means shareholder. Are it teaching B school lecture method? Who are the stakeholders? Student, teachers, academic administrator, all those are stakeholders. Okay. Now please see, from a 4-point scale, they are asked to rate, ask for their preference. If they like, they give higher rating. If they don't like, they give less rating. Is that clear? I'll start from Barsa. Barsa, switch on video.
Sir, my network is weak
Okay,
today.
look to the screen. Respondent number 13. Can you see?
Respondent number 13.
Yes.
Yes.
madam.
Yes, sir.
What we can infer from the response from respondent number 13?
So like he is means comfortable with large lectures and small lectures too.
So, वो भी चलेगा, वो भी चलेगा. Okay. So this is what somebody has opined. Say for example, respondent number 7, Nilesh. Nilesh, you are there? Nilesh Kumar?
Yes, sir.
Respondent number 7. What is the comment, feedback from respondent number 7?
Sir, for respondent number 7, we can interpret that he is comfortable for the large lectures, but
According to
unfortunately, he is
respondent
not
number 7,
comfortable
large lecture method is better. Can you say that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But not for the small lectures.
That is implied, na? You are comparing. Comparison, na?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
similarly, you need to infer the meaning of this course. All of you are clear? Now please listen to me. What is the method the statisticians have suggested, those who coined sign test? They suggested, don't worry about the number. We will not be using number. What we'll be doing, first row minus second row, check the difference. If the difference is negative, just put minus sign. If the difference is positive, just put plus sign. Okay. And if it is tie case, 0. Fine. So the second step, ignore the zeros. Why you are ignoring 0? Any logic, Smriti? Because they are undecided. Both are equal from them. You want to compare. So in this case, we are deciding which is better. What should be implemented by the B school? Okay, Bhavani. So now I'm asking Bhavani what?
Yes, sir.
What are the 2 steps we suggested? Step 1.
First difference the score 1 and score 2. If it is negative, put a minus sign, and positive, put a plus sign. If it is 0, ignore that.
Bas. Next is count number of minus sign, count number of plus signs. Okay, and add them. Number of minus sign, number of plus sign, the total is my revised sample size. All of you are writing it down. Ansuman. Now number of plus sign divided by this revised n. Number of plus sign divided by n. If number of plus sign is higher, what should be the conclusion? Ashribad, then Ashrit. Ashribad and then Ashrit.
Sir, if the plus sign is higher, then we can conclude that large lectures are better for the students.
Wow. Ashrit, do you agree? I think he is wrong.
No, sir, it's right.
He's right. Nivedita, you are there, Nivedita?
Yes, sir.
Quote Sriva's last sentence.
So he said that if our large lectures are preferred more.
How, when large lecture will be preferred more? If plus signs are higher. Manjot, if minus signs are higher?
Then people are suggesting that small lectures are better.
All of you are now clear? This is simple decision rule. So what is the trick, methodology of sign test, Manjot?
So what you say that
As point sign test, Manjot is the developer of sign test. She is going to explain us. Sign test में क्या कैसे करते हैं? क्या करना होगा? Step 1.
So step 1, we will find the difference between the large lecture and small lecture. If it is in if the difference is in negative, we will put a minus sign. If the difference is in positive sign, then we will put a plus sign. And if the difference is 0, then we will put a 0 sign.
Then?
So then what we will do, we will compute number of plus sign and number of minus sign. If number of plus signs are more, that will indicate that people are suggesting large lectures. And if number of minus signs are more, then people are suggesting small lectures.
Great. Thank you. I want you all to copy these 2 rows of data in your notebook, all of you. And I will be checking it right now.